The now infamous bailout packages, the various governmental programs which are set to spend trillions of our dollars, are nothing more than band-aids. There are real problems in this economy, and the problems go much deeper than any capital infusions into the financial houses and Wall Street banks of this world can ever correct. Primarily, our country is unproductive. Americans have no savings. Their personal savings rate currently stands at less than 1%, which is the same level that it stood at in the 1930s during the throes of the Great Depression. Americans have no savings because they have no disposable income. And they have no disposable income because they lack reliable, wealth-producing jobs. Where have all the jobs in this economy gone? Well, the simple answer is to say that those jobs have been outsourced. Outsourced by the millions via free trade policies that this government has followed in the last 50 years. The primary champion of free trade is the World Trade Organization, but many people don't understand where the World Trade Organization came from. The WTO, along with the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund, are called Bretton Woods institutions because in July of 1944, those organizations were set up by the Allied nations at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. During World War II, these were organized to set up the post-war New World Order. And out of this came the United Nations, the IMF, and the General Agreements on Tariffs and Trade, which would later become the WTO. For the next 50 years, things continued per normal. Then came the 1980s and 1990s, and the end of the Cold War. With the collapse of global communism, people believed that the only remaining aspect of the world economy was capitalism. They thought that if communism had lost, that meant capitalism had won. Historian Francis Fukuyama even declared, with the fall of the Soviet Union, he declared the end of history. He said communism had lost, capitalism had won, and there would be nothing more to talk about. In 1995, in the throes of this post-collapse, the World Trade Organization was set up out of the foundations of the General Agreements on Tariffs and Trade. What the WTO does is it increases the volume of international trade. That is the goal of the WTO. The goal is not to decrease poverty or increase wealth. The goal is not to rebuild infrastructure. The goal is not to increase the standard of living of the people of the world. The goal is to increase the freight transported between countries.